So let's begin with a prayer. Heavenly Father,
Father,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
Friend, beloved God,
Friend, beloved God,
Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ,
Babaji Krishna,
Babaji Krishna,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Swami Sri Yukteswar,
Swami Shri Yukteswar,
our beloved Master,
our beloved Master,
Paramahansa Yogananda,
Paramahansa Yogananda,
friend and guide,
Friend and Guide,
beloved Swamiji,
beloved Swamiji,
saints of all religions,
Saints of all religions,
we bow to you all.
we bow to you all,
Beloved Master,
beloved Master,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
be with us now.
be with us now,
Guide us
guide us
in opening our minds,
in opening our minds,
that we attune ourselves
that we attune ourselves
to thy wisdom and discrimination
to thy wisdom and
and
discrimination,
ever deeper understanding,
and ever deeper understanding,
and dwell in our hearts,
dwell in our hearts,
that they always be open and receptive
that they always be open and receptive
to your love and guidance.
to your love and guidance.
We are your children.
We are your children.
We offer you our love and devotion.
We offer you our love and devotion.
We surrender to thee.
We surrender to thee.
Use us as thy channels.
Use us as thy channels.
Om. Peace. Amen.
Amen.
Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light. Come out of the darkness, Mother, bathe me in thy light. Bathe me in thy light.
So welcome, everyone. The topic today, we're going to be talking about the inner and outer world. And this time is so extraordinary. The time, all of us staying home and still communicating and being together is wonderful. Someone just sent me this. It was hilarious to see it. If I describe it, I hope it's just as funny. But the first frame of this little cartoon was a woman saying to someone, so what skills have you acquired while you've been in self-isolation? And the next frame is this woman, and she's got her face in a teapot, and she's blowing and sending a perfect arc of tea into a cup on the table. And everybody identifies with it, because what have people been doing? Been doing different things than they usually do, that's for sure. But this time is a time of going into a new age, the Dwapara Yuga, the next age that this planet is going through. And it started in 1900. And this is the reason that our masters have come. They've come to help us do the transient time of going into a new age. And so this earth has been going through so many things, and the masters came. This is why Yogananda came. That's why all of the masters that trained him came. This is why Swami Kriyananda came. This is why we have all come. And Master Yogananda ji and Swamiji have come several times that we know of, maybe more, to help this transition. And they came as William the Conqueror and his son Henry, King Henry, and came again as San Fernando III, and his son Alfonso X came as Yogananda and Swami Kriyananda. And each time it was to help the world take the next step in consciousness. It was in different ways depending on the age and the years. William the Conqueror was in the year 1000, San Fernando in 1200. And so in essence, they were doing the same job over and over again. And then they came this time, and this was the pivotal time of going into the new age. And so Yogananda came and he invited Swami Kriyananda to come, and thank you. He invited Swami Kriyananda to come and said, we'll come as a team again. And he came to show us that, okay, we need to take the next step and go deeper, and it's not about the physical anymore. So at this time, the world has been in this world of upheaval, and Yogananda for years, he predicted, he said, you don't know what a cataclysm is coming. There will be crying in every home. You must get ready. You must get ready for this. And then Swami Kriyananda, who created Ananda, and it's taken us 50 years of preparing and getting ready so far for what the world is going through. And Swami Kriyananda would say, Master said there's a great cataclysm coming. And so we're watching around the world, we're seeing, okay, there's tidal waves, there's hurricanes, there's tornadoes, there's you know, all the different things that are happening that people are going through, and we're seeing that. But meanwhile, most of us have been, you know, pretty much safe in our homes. We haven't been, some people, I have friends who were just, the tornado just came to the edge, you know, of where they lived. And we're seeing it kind of close by, and some people, floods, things like that, and fires, a lot of people in this area. And but at the same time, it's like, is the world changing? And then God, in his creative genius, came up with the cataclysm that none of us would have thought of. He came up, he's the master psychologist. He came up with the thought that, okay, now it's time. Now the world needs to change their consciousness. What is the best way to do that? Oh, let's make them be by themselves. Let's put them in isolation. Let's give them something that will cover the world, and the world will have to be united through that. And that's what's happened. It's like the world is uniting in certain ways that overcame everything. And so everything has stopped for this pause, and people have to be alone with their own selves. And it's been amazing and very entertaining, all the things that all of a sudden are on the internet and the things that people are doing. And isn't it wonderful? It's at this time that he chose for this to happen, when we have the technology, when we have the means to still communicate with each other. And so people are doing positive things to help keep the energy up. And so what is happening? It's happening that the change that couldn't happen any other way, it's happening through this way. And what will happen afterwards? Well, that's what's to come. And the things that people are going through, and many deaths, many people losing people, and having to resolve that inside and go through that alone. All of you in New York, especially, all that's happening there, all the deaths. I mean, Master said there'd be crying in every home, and that is happening. Just a little pause, that a friend of ours, one of our community members, his name is Bajrang Powers, and he died last night here in the community, not from the virus. He's had an illness for a very long time. And just the other day, last night, he passed. So for those of you who do know Bajrang and Lisa, send them a little prayer. And now he can do so much more to help. He's free from that body. And those whose karma it is to not be part of this, many of those people have departed. And for those of us whose karma it is to be here, it's time now. We've been preparing for many years, learning how to meditate, teaching classes to people, starting centers, all the things that you're doing. It's been only preparation. And now it's time to say, okay, up the ante. Now we're going to put this light, be warriors of light, put the light out into the world much more. And that doesn't matter if you have no outward role. The inward role is one of every time that you meditate, every time that you pray, every time you send light out, you are being that warrior of light. And it doesn't mean that suddenly you're going to be in a vastly different position than you are. No, in fact, you're staying home and you're staying home and you're doing it from there. And as you find that it will give you strength. And then all the ways that we can come together like we are in this little satsang, we're coming together so that we can see, so that we can give each other energy and do the work that Yogananda has given to us. So the outer world reflects our inner world, and that is a reflection. We see that in the world. We see tornadoes, we see, all the things happening, right? And that is a result of the consciousness of this world. In Satya Yuga, which is 2 more yugas after this one, the weather's always nice because people have very sattvic, very high vibration, and are only thinking positively. Whereas right now, all this anger and fear and everything is creating that outer world. Now, to take that to a personal level, when you see that on a world level, in your own world, the same thing is happening. The same thing is happening, that everything on the outside in your world is a reflection of your inner world. So if you have a lot of fear, if you have a lot of anger, if you have a lot that you still need to work on to overcome in your emotional, well, just, it's too broad to even say, all the things that we have come here to work on. And you'll find that it reflects to you from the outer. So it's like the cosmic comes down to the microcosm. And there isn't time now to talk more about that, but also, and Krishnas may address that a bit more, but also Colleen had said, had noticed that I'm going to be doing a weekend retreat on strengthening your aura. It's not set, the date isn't set yet. So we'll let you know when it is set, but, and just wanted to mention a little bit about strengthening your aura. And since there isn't a lot of time for that, you're doing the right things, basically, and you all know that. You know that by strengthening your meditation, but if you do feel a little bit that you need to strengthen your aura more, then visualize and send a bubble around yourself. And there are different ways to do visualizations, do affirmations, meditate, and send out prayers. Every time you do that, your aura gets stronger. And keep your energy up. And get some exercise. Eat well. Think positive. Every time you think positively, your aura gets strengthened. So all of these ways that you can do what you're doing, but there are many more ways, and I will go into it much more, and the subtleties of it in that particular seminar that we're going to do, our weekend retreat. But I was just looking at something that Yogananda ji wrote in the first lessons that he ever came out with. And he said, he said to visualize this and say this as an affirmation. I will wipe the dream fears of disease, sadness, and ignorance from the soul's face of silence with the veil of Divine Mother's peace. I will wipe the dream fears of disease, sadness, and ignorance from the soul's face of silence with the veil of Divine Mother's peace. So God bless you all, and Krishna's going to speak now.
So I was thinking literally about this title, the inner world versus the outer world. Just like, let's say, a sports match or something. The inner world is going to win. So put your money on that. The inner world is the dominant power here. The outer world comes from the inner world, from God being stillness, and then as creation manifested, God became creation. So this is what Master taught us and pointed out to us, that clarification that God, this outer world, is part and parcel of the inner world. The inner world being the essence of the inner world being God. that is within each and every one of us as the soul. So if we start from there, which is what we need to do, that have a strong inner life, which we know, which we all do. And we know that that's the most important thing. But we didn't always know that. And when we didn't know that and approached this world from the outer, from the periphery, it was typically for most a mess, or it got messier. It's like the analogy of, or the image of picking up the puppet by the leg or the arm, and it's just a bundle of sticks. Swami gave us that. Whereas you pick it up by the string, by the head, at the top of the head, it all takes shape. So we need to do that. It isn't so much to Master Yoganandaji stressed again and again, and it's when you become aware of a certain thing and then you start thinking about it, and then you start seeing it everywhere, and just about in every writing. It's partly magnetism, but he talked about this world being a dream. You know, truly it is a dream, it's an illusion. I love the quote of Swami Ramdas, where he said, Ram, which is God, Ram is in all is in Ram, and Ram is all in all. Everything is God. The outer is God. It's a reflection of God's consciousness. But if we think that's the only reality and try to find our fulfillment in the world, it doesn't work. And there's a reason for that, because it is limited. It is not only the world of relativities, which means, you know, higher, lower, bigger, smaller. Okay, you have something that you classify as high. Well, there's going to be something higher, something that's strong. There's going to be something stronger. But in the inner realm of spirit, the soul that is within us, that is God within us, there are no relativities. It's absolute. So in these states of consciousness that we are talking about, the aspects of God, peace, calmness, joy, there's no relativity to that. There's no opposite to that when you get to the essence of our being, and those aspects being our essence: peace, calmness, joy, love. So when we have our sadhana that Yogananda and the masters have stressed should be the foundation of our life, meditation and faith in God, in these teachings, in the techniques that we've been given to connect us with that reality, to experience that reality. What a blessing. You know, I think we are so blessed in no matter what's happening in the outer world. That is what that is our world. Now, we don't only covet that in a sense that that's where it all happens and negate the outer world. No, the outer world is where we play out. It's the Kurukshetra, what we want to make into the Dharma Kshetra, where we want to live in Dharma in the outer world. And Yogananda was very careful and descriptive and helped us in how we could do that. First, we have to start with meditation, the foundation, and then we practice our techniques daily and then share it with satsang. We have a spiritual family that we're enjoying right now, right here and now. And as Ananda Worldwide has gotten much more energetic in our satsang globally, we're all, I think, realizing the benefit of our spiritual family. And we see each other from time to time in the physical, but we are all connected spiritually, as Master beautifully and poetically described, that we are all held in the gossamer net of his love, of his undying love. I added the undying because it's always there for us. We need to tune in. Just like you turn on the radio and you put that dial on the right signal, and there it is. But we could always be dialed to that. We need to be, we should be, particularly in this time right now. And these are why these things happen. Our parents and grandparents went through horrendous experiences. Yogananda himself, he lived through World War I, and then he lived through World War II. Many of his teachings and analogies have war and being the warrior, the bloody battlefield, and how to live through a time like he lived. And that's when this is when he gave all of these teachings, which is really interesting. You know, it wasn't sort of inside of his consciousness. He's always connected to God in that bliss, which is why he was able to do it. But the outer world was just chaos, and politically and physically with the fears and economic hardship that went on with the Great Depression and on and on. So this is when he gave these teachings. So, and then he predicted, as Mantradevi said, you don't know what a great cataclysm is coming. And we don't know if this is the great cataclysm, like the one, but it's certainly close. It may lead to something worse. We don't know what's going to come from this, but we shouldn't dwell on it in a fearful way, in a worrisome way. He said, now this is when we've been given through world events and through the mass karma of this planet, giving us the opportunity to really use our teachings. And they are to be strong in our sadhana. Deepen your meditation and deepen your meditation and your faith in God and Guru. And then we need to strengthen our willpower and our magnetism to hold the line during this when you think of the macrocosmic effect of all of the thought waves that are going on in this entire planet. This isn't just happening, as you know, in one culture. It's global. The fears and worry and hardship that it's creating, people losing New York itself, the epicenter of some of the worst of it, you know, with how many deaths there's been and so on and so forth. I know you've been close to that. And for us to have our teachings and our guru, we're so blessed. And we need to be the warriors of the light, as our beautiful affirmation that we did. Practice that daily and actually actualize it. And pray and send out rays of, because this is wonderful that we are actually self-isolated, you know, because it's like, well, do you watch more TV? Do you like just look out the window? Do you, you know, eat more snacks? You know, whatever you would do. I know there's a lot of fun videos on the YouTube and, you know, of what people are doing, which is nice to have some humor. But this is a golden opportunity for us to strengthen our sadhana and our practices and be servants of the light as well, and send out the vibrations of peace and calmness, the fruit of the years of our sadhana and our daily sadhana, to share with the world. Master has said that one deeply meditating yogi draws the currents of divine grace down to this planet more than crowds of well-meaning well-wishers. You know, sort of, it's good to affirm it, but a deeply meditating yogi brings these vibrations of grace, God's grace, currents of grace, down to this planet. And don't we need it more than ever? So now more than ever, we can be instruments and channels for this. So I had this one experience I did want to share. I was walking to the expanding light years ago, and I happened to look down on the ground. And, you know, as you know, we live in nature, and we walk on dirt paths, usually wherever we go. And I saw this line of little white things, you know, kind of moving on the ground. And so I kind of got down. I was curious what that was. And it was a line of red ants carrying all these white, what turned out to be eggs. So I followed the line quite far. And I came to what was a battle going on between black ants and red ants. And there was a hole. And these red ants were coming out of this hole with these eggs. And around the hole, there was one black ant. And there were a lot of dead ants. There was a battle going on, body parts, pieces, you know. And I was intrigued. I was enamored. I was really brought into this little drama, you know, which was a big drama for them. And there was a black ant guarding the hole, and one red ant would distract it, and two red ants would go in from the other side down into the hole. The black ants were losing, obviously. And as I was viewing this close up, kind of like a scientist, you know, I was caught emotionally and in this situation, you know, this tragic war that was going on, particularly for the black ants, tragic. But then I happened to kind of look up, and it was a beautiful, clear, cloudless blue sky. It was so beautiful. And I relaxed. And I thought, oh, interesting, this battle's going on. So I got back into it, and there it was again. Same feelings came up. And I looked up again, and the blue sky was so beautiful and calming. And I thought, for them, they were in that battle, and that's all that was going on. But and for us too, even globally with this COVID-19, it's affecting everyone in some way, in some manner. It's affecting everyone on the planet. We have to keep it in perspective. It's not the end of the world. Yoganandas said the end of the world's not going to end for a long time. It has many cycles to go through before the dissolution of this planet, this universe. But we do need to keep it in perspective. And by that, I mean not get caught up in, again, the fears, the worries that Mantradevi was talking about, so that we can stay centered. And our famous, I say famous, but very well-known, beautiful quote Master has given us to stay, remain unshaken amidst the crash of breaking worlds. This is a time worlds are breaking around us, and we need to remain centered in that. And we were trained for this. It's a blessing that perhaps this is happening in our lifetime, so that we can actually utilize what we've been taught and bring forward what we've been given and live our life truly with these teachings and techniques at our foundation, so that we can serve this world at this very much needed time. So it's a blessing for us to be able to do this with you and help us all keep this uppermost in our consciousness at this time.
Beautiful.
It's been such a joy.
This has been wonderful to spend this time with you all.
Yeah.